Yeah, my name's Jason Augusto. I work as a handyman for a home builder, but I also am a cake artist, so I bake and decorate cakes. So when I was first diagnosed with bipolar disorder, and I was seeing a therapist, she told me that it was really good for me to do something that made me relax, and baking was that. Right, so that's what I did. I started baking, and then I got a request for a birthday cake, and I did it. Figured it was so easy. I was like, wow, I can do this, and I just grew from there. I was diagnosed in 2017. I'm 41 years old now, so I went pretty much half my adult life undiagnosed, untreated. It was very difficult. I was never one to open up. I was very closed. I've been married for 18 years. I've been with my wife for 25. So it was a long process, and it was very difficult. I always knew something was wrong. I didn't want to believe it, or I didn't want to address it, and I just keep myself closed up. So it caused a lot of issues and problems, right? And then when my depression would kick in, I didn't realize that not only was I depressed, but my wife was depressed, because she didn't know how to help me. She didn't know what was going on with me. So it was very difficult, right? I hit a real low in about 2016, and things got really bad. I ended up in the hospital. I was there for a week. And once again, I wouldn't open up. I wouldn't open up to any of the therapists, the psychiatrists. I just keep myself closed. So they sent me home, and undiagnosed. So I continued like that for another year, and got bad again. So it was to the point where my wife said, you need to go to the doctor. Something's not right, and you have to get it checked out. So I did. And then that's when I was diagnosed. So she pretty much saved my life, because who knows where I would have ended up today. Keeping it to myself was probably the worst thing I could have ever done. And I did it for a long time, you know? Yeah. And it's a big problem, and I know it happens. Everybody experiences that. And I work in the construction industry, and it's probably one of the worst industries when it comes to mental health. It doesn't get talked a lot. It goes unnoticed. And I think because in construction you have that macho attitude, and you don't talk about that, that's something that doesn't get talking about. So, but if people realize that the second leading cause of death in the construction industry is suicide by men between 25 and 59 years old. The highest risk from 40 to 59, A lot of people don't know that. I done my courses. I became a licensed health and safety representative. When I did all those courses, nothing about mental health, nothing. You work on a construction site, you have toolbox talks, nothing mention about mental health, right? It just doesn't get talked about. And it's sad, because we live in such an amazing country, and everything is evolving now around mental health, right? Like in schools, workplaces. I just find that the construction industry is a little lacking behind, and it's sad, And even last year on World Mental Health Day, I decided, you know what, I'm gonna try to see if I can spark up a conversation. So I made 24 cupcakes, and I brought them to work. I pulled out some facts about mental health and construction, about the suicide rate, how many people go unchecked and diagnosed, untreated, because nobody wants to talk. So I wrote this whole thing, and everybody got a copy. Out of probably the 20 people there, one person came to talk to me. So I was disappointed, but I was happy at the same time, because at least one person kind of reached out, right? And it made me feel good, but at the same time, I was like, more needs to be done, you know? Like, there's not enough being done right now in that industry. Yeah, so when I first got diagnosed, I was actually angry. I was upset. I didn't know why this, happened to me. I have a distant cousin in another country that's diagnosed with the same thing, but none of my brother, my sisters, my immediate family, nobody was diagnosed. I'm first generation Canadian, so it's a little difficult to kind of pinpoint where it's coming from in the family, because it was never talked about back then, right? They used to have different ideas of what that person was going through, right? Even when I was 17 years old, because that's kind of like when it stems back to. It was never talked about at that time as well, So it was hard, right? Like now we have a lot of like programs, we have about Let's Talk, we have all these different things that can get people to reach out. Back then I didn't have that, right? It was like, if something's wrong with you, just keep it to yourself, right? Put a smile on your face and go on with your day. So it was hard. And, but back to when I was first diagnosed, I was angry. I used to look at myself in the mirror and I used to say, why can't I just be normal, right? It took me a while. It took me a while to accept my diagnosis and to embrace it. Because without my diagnosis, I wouldn't have realized that, I became a cake artist. I'm healthy now, right? I'm stable. I'm happy. I have 3 kids. I have my family that I have to be there for, and they rely on me as much as I rely on them, So it took me a while to realize that, what? Like that saying, normal is boring, right? Like I relate to that a lot because if everybody in the world was normal, the world would be boring, honestly, right? And if people are always trying to be normal, they'll never realize the amazing person that they can be, right? Because, what's normal anymore, right? It took me a while to figure that out, but once I figured that out, I think my mental health recovery, because that's what I call it now, started to progress and to the positive, right? So, I owe a lot to, I have a lot of support. My wife, my kids, my parents, my siblings, amazing support I have. I also have amazing support with a peer support group that I meet with every Tuesdays. Amazing people. I think that support group helped me a lot because I was able to relate to others and get their life experiences and what they've done to better their lives. So, the struggle is always going to be there. I always think on the back of my head, what if my medication stops working, right? Am I going to go back to the way I was, So it's always good to try to have different fail-safes if something was to happen. And with my support group and talking with my wife, you can develop different ways of coping, So.
And you're baking.
And I'm baking, yeah, I love it. Right now, I feel like I'm the best person that I have ever have been, only being diagnosed 3 years ago, it took a while, to kind of get where I am, and I'm still climbing. I'm still trying to go higher and higher and to do better and to learn more and education, right? Really, I bake to advocate, right? So I kind of always want to throw in a message about something. All they need is one person, really. 1, 2 people. You can, a friend, a relative, even your doctor, right? All you need is that one person to to talk to, and that can change a person's life.